R.I.P.P. Don P. PhD. Yo. I said, R.I.P. TV. Tell the homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's every day, thoughty. It's all for the community. That's what P showed me. We lost without the unity. Where the fuck is the OGs? R.I.P.P. God bless the real. Only for the righteous. The rest will go to hell. Flipping through the book of Revelation, figure it out. Transliterate the translation, do it yourself. It's the last days, life is a test and we in a cage. Concrete jungle, everyday struggle. Fuck the pain, I'm on some HNIC shit. A Gellion 3 shit. If you don't know what I mean, you was never G. Real shit, R.I.P. Yo, P, play that beat back, 333. Burn some weed, repeat that. Shake me up a tuka pack, break me off for 20 pieces. I'm gone, never looking back. Y'all can't talk to me. R.I.P. TV, tell the homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's every day, thoughty. It's all for the community. That's what P showed me. We lost without the unity. Where the fuck is the OGs? Like the weed, play some IMD for me. It's hell on earth for real, but y'all don't wanna see paper trail politics. All the shit was prophecy, strictly for the family. Peace to the prodigy. R.I.P.P. I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams bring the skizzy, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. R.I.P.P. I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams bring the skilly, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. Yo.
Yo, what up? What up? Yeah, let me get to cracking. What up, Bud Toka? What up, Tori Weaver? What up, homie? Let me send out the invites to the homies, and we'll just get started. How's everybody doing, man? I am, I would be in what you would call recovery mode today. DM me or email me. I'm going to start taking care of orders tomorrow. I'm just, I'm recovering right now. I don't have the the online shop ready yet, but as you can see, the Good Fight hoodies are on deck. So, yeah, email me, DM me, and I will take care of it. I will be going to the shop to start making everybody's stuff tomorrow, if I can get my shit together. So, Tori, I hope you good down there, man. Drew Brees can't figure out if he want to retire or not. He should go ahead and retire. We all know this. Welcome to the homie.
What up, homie?
What up, Sean?
What's up with you, man?
Yo, the beard is looking ill today.
I got a haircut, bro.
Yeah, I can tell. Beard's looking ill, looking all clean and whatnot.
Yeah. My league getting ready to start, so I had to clean up a little bit, man. Got to present myself a certain way.
Yeah, you got to, man. You got to. Everybody knows you got to be able to wear many hats.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see if Nice actually shows up for this beatdown that he's going to take this week.
Oh, okay. Let me pull up my computer.
Yeah, I talked to him last week on the phone twice and was just like, listen, man, I know you're busy, but it's Jets week, so you got to come through.
Yeah, that's his team right there, ain't it?
I mean, it depends on what day of the week we're talking about.
So he's not a G-man too, is he?
Nah. Nice has always been a Jets fan. But, with the recent Jets activity, we went ahead and gave him a free pass to pick another team, and we wouldn't even be mad at him. And he's always like the Seahawks has always been his like B team. And then
okay.
and then those motherfuckers go and start talking into to Adam Gase themselves. So I was like, nice, you're allowed to be a Jets fan again, man. It ain't even. I'm not mad at you, homie.
Yep. So a lot of stuff still going on. I seen something today where Seahawks is really trying to get a big trade.
Yeah,
trying to make some moves.
I find it interesting because you and I had talked about it via text that Pete Carroll's 70. He's not going to want to rebuild.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Too much. I mean, if Russell left, he would definitely be starting from ground zero.
And the thing is there is Deshaun Watson hanging out there in the universe and whatnot, but he's limited his list of teams that he will accept being traded to 4, and the Seahawks ain't one of them.
Uh-huh.
So, I find the timing interesting now.
Uh-huh.
What my GM hat says is I'd ship Russell Wilson off. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm taking Russ. I'm getting rid of Dak. I'm taking Russ. It would just be the biggest slap in the face to Dak of all time for Jerry to go ahead and go get another black quarterback and give him all that money when he would refuse to pay him for the last 3 years.
Yeah. I'm trying to start onto my laptop here.
Nah, take your time, homie. I'm in recovery mode from a banger of a migraine. This much so.
Wow.
I went to the hospital this morning like, oh, y'all got to give me some Toradol. I'm not going through this today. You gotta take care of this one.
And you say these is all from the concussions all you've been having all your life.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I did I had a little photo shoot yesterday, and the the flashing lights in my head don't go too well together.
Uh-huh. Give you a headache, I know.
Ooh, you already know. But, you got to do what you got to do. Whatever it takes.
Exactly.
So, I haven't talked to Kerry in the last couple of days. I don't know if he's available today or not. It don't even matter.
It's all good shit. We can make it happen. I'm going to try my best to hang it, give as much information as I can, because you guys are really good. Not just sitting one, you guys know all these teams and names, and I just got to step my game up,
Man, I appreciate it, man. This is just football fandom. I don't do research.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just a real fan of NFL football. Now, you could ask me about any other sport, and I'm going to be just as, the lay human just like everyone else, even college football. I'm going to be like, yeah, I haven't been into college football in the longest time. I am singularly focused on NFL football. I love this shit, man. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too, man. It's just, I just got a lot going on besides my football, my NFL flag. I'm a manager for recreation too. I run recreation. I work recreation too, man. So I wear many hats, man. Good.
I mean, I try to treat the NFL like, especially since I started playing fantasy this year, I'd take like an hour or two a week to just kind of just sit down and just absorb all the news, the roster moves, the impact, the momentum, matchups, and things like that. I just literally made myself set apart a piece of at least an hour a week so that when I do this, it kind of looks like I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, definitely. You definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so...
My guys...
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, because last week when I had to get off, I had an NFL, a national flag referee, because that's my main thing. I referee, too. And I had my guys over there. They was like, damn, them guys know all that shit. I said, I know them boys be on it. Kerry be doing his shit, too.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I love that shit because... This is literally how him and I, Nice too. This is how we run Gray Matter. This is, I know other like sports talk shows have it like a show, but this is literally like what we used to do. We used to talk at this level like we were basically on a show when it's just us in the room talking about football. That's why I always told you there's very few people that I talk to about football because I'm in it. I'm too.
Level.
Yeah, I'm 10 toes in, maybe.
I know that's right. You are.
So, the biggest news of the week, obviously, is J.J. Watt. Like, this, surprised everybody, including including myself. Arizona was not even in the hemisphere.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. They got they got the quarterback. What's my man's name?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray. Yeah. And what was their record this year? I don't even know.
They're 8-8. They ended up like,
Okay.
it's I just find it interesting. I did see, it's hard to say no to $23 million guaranteed over a 2 year, and you get it, dude. That guaranteed over 2 years, 23. That's as an aging defensive tackle who has missed a lot of games over the last few years.
Exactly.
That 23 guaranteed was too hard to say no to. So I guess
He definitely came up for sure. For 2 years and 23 million guaranteed, you couldn't beat that with a bat.
Nah, and you have to remember, he's still really young. It just seems like he's been playing forever. He's still 9 or 10 seasons in. So he's going to have a solid 4 or 5 more years even after these two if he wants to. Clearly, Kerry, what up, homie? Clearly, we're talking about J.J. Watt to Arizona, and
of course, that's the biggest news of the cycle right now.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about it's that $23 million guaranteed over 2 years is hard to say no to.
That plus, D Hop has been in his ear this entire time. Recruit your friend. That's also 3-time defensive MVP of the league. Yeah, not too bad. When you have Chandler Jones on the other side, and those two have been 1-2 in sacks since 2012.
Yeah, that's that's one of those Patriots moves that I was not real happy about, Gary. That's one of the roster purchases. I was like, dude, he just led the NFL in sacks. What are we letting him go for? What the fuck? We couldn't afford him though. He commanded way too much money. But no, that makes them a formidable tandem. Given JJ's health now, since you have Chandler Jones over there, JJ, he's not going to see one-on-ones. It's JJ Watt. He's not going to see one-on-ones, but he will get a lot more opportunities now.
Plus, you have a young linebacking and defensive backfield in Arizona. Plus, they got that cat from Clemson, Isaiah Simmons,
who is incredible.
So I expect this next year, year 2, he will start getting a lot more snaps.
Well,
I've Watt there too, and then you get to kind of let Simmons roam and do his thing because he's made his bones being a tweener.
Yeah, you just let him do it. Don't put him in a box. Just let him play.
Yeah, let him flow and be a playmaker. He's fast. He's tall.
Well, Kerry, Roger, I have been talking about this since J.J. Watt said it was done in Houston. What have I been saying? Where does he need to go? And why? To the Chargers so that he can be the leader in the locker room. And look what he just did. He just went and did the same thing. He's now going because Kyler Murray's not going to be that leader. And Larry Fitzgerald is, but Larry Fitzgerald, you see it in his demeanor. He's not J.J. Watt leader like.
Well, no, he'll talk to you. He will talk, but he gets it done on the field.
Yeah, I feel like Larry Fitzgerald will pull you aside when nobody else is looking, and then he will lead you in that way.
Have a one-on-one.
To where J.J. Watt's going to be in front of the squad taking the first bullets. Like, yo, I'm out here. Let's do this.
Or at the press conference saying we solved.
Yeah, exactly. So, Roger, you're looking at the Tom Brady effect, and this is going to be the new effect. Because everyone saw the change in that locker room the second he walked in, and now everyone sees what that leadership, how valuable that is, and now we see somebody paying J.J. Watt, yes, for his football services. That $31 million deal, Kerry and Roger, that is for leadership services.
Exactly, lead the team and
that's locker room.
bring the elevation up in the locker room, the camaraderie, just all that. Because definitely,
yeah,
all
the intensity in the weight room and practice, it's all through the roof now.
And the best thing it does is it puts a shield, another protective shield onto Kyler Murray.
This is
perfect.
This is what I was saying the whole time that the Chargers should do, and the Cardinals went and did it. Mm-hmm. So now you're good. Now it's like, all right, who's next on the leadership ship to move? Because we are starting to see some players lose their jobs. Mm-hmm. Kyle Van Noy is losing his job. The Dolphins are going to cut him again. So clearly, he's probably going to end up in New England again.
I was going to say he's probably going to go right back to New England.
He's made his that Dolphins deal just made him his money as at his position and his tenureship in the league. That was his deal. He's going to get money in New England, but it's going to be less. But he's going to go right back there.
Listen, he played well enough in New England to even get another deal from somebody else to get money.
Yeah, it worked out for him. So he won a couple rings. What else do you got to do now? And he even said today, he said he wasn't even surprised. Well, he says he was surprised, but let's come on, Kyle Van Noy.
Well, everybody in Miami is surprised when they get cut or benched. I don't know. Must be just the Miami way. Who knows? Oh, and speaking of that, somebody's bringing in Fitzmagic.
100%.
Don't know who yet, but someone's definitely going to have him in their program.
I know who should. Follow JJ. Go right to Arizona.
You know what? I was actually thinking more Chicago.
Yeah, I could see that too, but I'm thinking as more of the closer. I think he's now the official Mariano Rivera of football. And if you go to Chicago, he might end up playing a lot of fucking football in Chicago.
I know. But what's your options? What's your other options?
I mean, I go down to Arizona if I'm him, and the weather's great. You don't have to be the leader. You just got JJ to stand up there and yell all you want, and then you just kind of mentor Kyler, and whenever he's fucking up and Cliff wants to pull him off the field, you just put it in. Go ahead.
Yeah, but he first of all, Cliff is not pulling Kyler off the field. That's one. But second, Fitzmagic wants to play. He wants to play. So in that regard, Arizona's not a good look. Chicago is.
Yeah, I think Chicago's going to make a bigger move, though. I think they're going to make a bigger move.
I mean, they have to. I know they have to, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
This is very true. So Kyle Rudolph released by the Vikings today.
Expected.
Yeah, it makes sense. They got Irv Smith Jr. They don't need him. Yeah. And they didn't really use Kyle Rudolph at all anyway. At all.
No, not even in his bread and butter, the red zone.
No, not even when Irv Smith got hurt, they really weren't working him. Because fantasy-wise, I was just like, well, Irv Smith's hurt now. Kyle Rudolph's numbers are about to go up. Nope, they stayed. Justin Jefferson went right through the fucking roof. All right, so speaking of Justin Jefferson, I've been wanting to talk to you guys about this. And, Carrie, I know you know about this because LSU is my B squad in college football. So let me ask you something while Justin Jefferson is the topic at hand. Do we have another Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins scenario in LSU? Because that Ja'Marr Chase played better than Justin Jefferson in LSU, and now he's old enough to come out. And we just saw what Justin Jefferson did to the league. And people are forgetting that Chase was actually more dominant in their number one receiver as a younger player, so...
Yes, he was, which is the only reason why I said I was kind of tepid on Justin Jefferson at first. I was like, well, he has the spot. He has the size, not really the speed, but it's okay. He'll be a great possession receiver.
I knew his route running his footwork is so on point. I knew he was going to play well, but look what he did, and now I'm waiting for Ja'Marr Chase because that kid is a fucking stud. He is a stud.
I don't know if the Giants are... if they're snake bitten, having taken one LSU wide receiver already. I mean, but they did it to themselves. I would grab Chase, but they need to actually go edge rusher. They need a receiver, but
yeah. So look at how top heavy the receivers are in this draft. Ja'Marr Chase,
Bell,
dude who just won the fucking Heisman at wide receiver,
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle, both coming out of there. They are, again, top heavy at receiver. And these are what we're now seeing in the NFL is receivers that are this good are plug and play. They go right into the lineup and they just start getting busy.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that the Rams changed the landscape of how the NFL operates whenever they went and loaded up their roster with on that Super Bowl run when they were loaded up in every position and just went with a young quarterback who was cheap for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So now that has forced the hand in not only quarterbacks having to be able to play right out the gate, because if you can, you're going to play. Now these wide receivers are, because Kerry, everybody knows they always said wide receiver is the hardest position mentally to figure out the difference from college to the NFL. Well,
3 years.
Yeah, well now they're playing a lot of college style offenses in the NFL just to cater to these quarterbacks, and it's helping the receivers.
Not only that, the offenses that they're running in high school are pro offenses.
Yeah, I know. You're
They're
really
doing spread in high school, so you get. I mean, it became the spread quarterback. So then the spread quarterback goes from one spread system to the next, which also makes the coaching key when it comes to a lot of these quarterbacks who have been groomed to play one style of football.
Yes.
For the majority of their playing career.
Well, look, you had look what
in situations people wonder why.
Well, situations are situational, and now you understand why Cliff Kingsbury, who was not a successful college football coach, got a job in the NFL.
But he was an expert at the spread.
Exactly. And that was the McVay effect. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, let's get these guys in here. Let's get these guys in here. Let's get these guys in here." Well, now
as soon as they punted Josh Rosen, who was not a spread quarterback, you see what happened. Now Josh, he can't even get off a practice squad now.
Nah, he's going to end up playing with Johnny Manziel in that fans run league, who Josh Gordon just signed up down there. So Josh Gordon's playing football down there. Dude, they let him smoke on the field basically in that league. So Josh Gordon's all about it.
Oh man,
I just hope that kid gets it together. Like what?
Shit, how many chances you gonna get? Shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, so with him and, Roger Harper, we're both weed heads. You get it. So with somebody like that, they should have just let that kid smoke weed, man, because when you tell him he can't smoke weed, then he starts doing other shit that's legal, like alcohol. And you see what happens when he starts.
He's on that lean heavy.
And then he starts drinking lean, and then it's pain pills, and you're going that route. When if you had just let the kid smoke weed and play football, he probably he'd have been like Lamar Odom.
Mm-hmm.
Some players you just gotta let them smoke.
A lot of shit about Lamar Odom. People forget Lamar Odom was dope.
Yeah, he was good.
He was the top male player in high school, going to Christ the King in Queens. And
you can say the same thing about I didn't tell you guys I played over in Canada my last year of professional football, and Todd Marinovich, they signed his ass.
Wow.
Matter of fact, it's funny. I just thought about Todd Marinovich the other day, and I thought about him as I was watching the Tiger Woods documentary. I finally saw the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
seeing the relationship between Earl and Tiger made me think of Todd Marinovich and his pop.
Yep.
And I was like, oh shit. And you just see how those dudes are just wired differently. Now, obviously, pan out like Tiger's career, but you saw the talent. He just was thrust in way too early, and it was.
Well, see, the difference between Earl and every other armchair coach father who's driving their son to achieve the success that they never achieved is Earl started working on Tiger's mental toughness from day one. He worried it was all about the brain first. The physical, we got that. Plus, it was also golf, so the physical wasn't that big of a factor anyway.
Also, if Todd would have had the opportunity to play in today's game,
yeah,
oh shit, he'd be ripping. He would be ripping. his style of play is more suited to now than it was for back then.
Well, we always say Randall Cunningham, too. Good God, Randall Cunningham would have had 150,000 career yards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, doing it every way, punting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. He was different.
He was completely different. And then Andre Ware, that whole run of quarterbacks. Andre Ware.
Andre.
I know you love Andre Ware, but all of them, man, like
Baby.
it's you can't take a quarterback like that and then expect them to sit inside of a pocket and become what you want them to be. Just let them be what they are. And that's when I say I always know except Bill Belichick, he's the exception to the rule. Bad coaches try to fit players into their system. Good coaches evaluate who they've got on their team and then build the system around their strengths.
Exactly.
But then you build the Patriot system was every single game we're going to morph into a different team, and they're really the only team that could ever have pulled that off.
Yeah, well, because they game plan game for game.
Literally game for game, including roster moves. We don't need you this game. You're not a. So that's
you healthy scratched. Yeah.
That is the exception to the rule is them. But most bad coaches will be like, "No, this is the offense we run. This is the defense we run. I don't care what you do. I'm going to put you into."
But kudos to John Harbaugh, and I know not many people like him, but kudos to him for that. I mean, he saw what a lot of people weren't trying to see or just didn't see. And he said, yeah, I know I won a Super Bowl with this guy. This guy's different.
Yeah.
He's different. And you know what? We're going to do everything necessary in order for him to succeed. Because if he succeeds, we succeed.
Yeah.
Watch.
Well, same thing, Belichick, whenever Drew Bledsoe his lungs had been inflated and his ribs repaired and his soul pumped back into his body. They were just like, "Nah, we're good, son. I don't care how much money we paid you. We're good. We got." Pete Carroll did the same thing. Pete Carroll did it with Matt Flynn. Poor Matt Flynn.
The hoodie better be sending Christmas cards to Mo Lewis's crib every year. Him and TB12 both.
I can still hear Drew's lungs collapsing from that hit. You could hear it. You could hear it leave his body.
Take a little pin and you put it in a balloon, and then you just go.
As he was going to the ground, you could literally hear his soul exiting his physical form.
Wow.
Oh my God! So what? The Jets released their starting D-end. Some dude named Anderson. I don't know. Nice is not going to pop in to talk about the not yets and never been. So we're going to have to destroy them ourselves. So another thing that has happened that is going to affect the social aspect of the Kansas City Chiefs, and whether or not they wanted to admit it, Andy Reid's son getting into that wreck in that 2-week Super Bowl window. They want to act like that wasn't a distraction. Yeah, right.
Getting so lit the day before you have to leave to play in the biggest game. That just screams a problem. But as we know, all of his, have had issues.
Yeah, they've all had substance abuse issues. So
they've all had substance abuse issues, and you kind of thought that after all this time has passed, maybe this one made it through.
I mean, Andy even kept him as close as possible, kept him on the staff as a coach, and kept him around. Which, with a lot of dedicated parents, dedicated, singularly focused on what it is they do, the result is usually the same, and that's what we're seeing with Andy Reid. Football coaches are notorious for, especially NFL coaches, for never being home ever.
Always at work, shit.
Always. Like Bill Belichick essentially just lives in his office during the season.
And it's a hard ask too. You have a family, you have kids, so you're asking your wife, your kids to just live. I'll provide you a life, but there he is. I'll provide you a life, but this is the sacrifice.
This is the sacrifice. It is crazy because you would think It's almost like being a teacher. You would think, all right, season's over. Now we get some dad time. Hell no. The next season begins the second that you walk off the sideline.
Even harder in the off season. You may get like a week, maybe 2, maybe.
Especially if you didn't win a Super Bowl. Now these ownerships are looking at you like, oh man, your contract, dude.
Especially as you're looking at your job and they talking about hot seats.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tough. But that's going to be a huge distraction going in to the offseason just for the coach himself to not be as focused as he normally would be. Because the lawyers for the girl who was in intensive care are pressing the DA for serious charges. So this guy's going to jail.
You know what? And they should also. His kids was in the whip. I mean, so that's child endangerment, right? there.
Those are felonies for each of the kids that were in his car doing that.
What's he doing?
So he's looking at like 5 or 6 felony charges. They're going to drop half of them, but he's going to jail. Which, should make Andy Reid once again reevaluate what he's doing. So, this offseason, he's going to be really distracted.
Like, and at this point, has anything else worked? Like, just real quick, like I'm gonna go ahead and make an assumption that this would, if he does end up going to jail, this will be his first, like, to do prison time.
Yeah.
This will be the first time that's happened. What happened before then? Like, were there treatment centers? Were there, like, you could have had all that. Maybe prison is just what he needs, and even that's a tough thing to say.
Well, also, Kerry, we know how this world works. This is a very, very famous NFL coach's son. So how many times did he skirt away in Kansas City and the cops just like escorted him home and whatnot, where they should have arrested him before?
If Mike Vick went to jail for his cousin fighting dogs, then this dude almost killed a few humans. So and small ones that were at his mercy. So.
Well, and on top of that, the NFL is the phoenix rising from the ashes of all leagues. Look how many players went to jail for something and played whenever they got out, including Mike Vick. Leonard Little. People forget Leonard Little killed somebody drunk driving.
Mm-hmm.
Dante Stallworth.
Yep.
J.R. Smith.
Yep.
I mean, look. I mean, it's like, huh? Even Brandy. I mean, like. It goes everywhere. Jesus. But yeah, and they've all gotten free.
Yeah.
Plaxico shot himself, and he did a couple joints that don't make sense.
Yeah.
You got to make it make sense to me. That just doesn't make sense.
They're going to make it make sense this time, though.
So
the other big news that's now, I mean, the Deshaun Watson thing is going to loom heavy over the league until a decision is made. But this Russell Wilson being thrown into the I want the fuck out of here fold is going. The NFL is literally about to flip on its head this offseason.
And then the other ingredient is Dak.
Yeah.
We gotta add the Dak ingredient. So now we keep looking at Seattle, Dallas, Houston. And as we talked about, I know you said 28 teams that inquired about Russ. Now he got like his signing bonus is already taken care of. So whoever picks him up could actually get him at a pretty damn good price.
Well, so you know who is campaigning heavily for him, and I don't know how this isn't tampering. But I guess the language that they're using, because Cam Jordan has been all over sports news, talk about, we'll take Russ down here. I can see him in a Saints uniform. Yo, Drew, shut up. Stay retired.
Well, listen, he just saw TB12 leave a situation that was no longer tenable and take his leadership skills. What is Russ known as?
Leader.
A leader. One of the best in sports. Not just football. So he just saw what TB12 did in his division.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you. And he was like, yeah. So he's looking at crab legs, eating them W's on the sidelines, and Taysom Hill, who awesome football player,
Not a quarterback. No.
Um,
He's just Tim
No.
Tebow. He's Tim Tebow with a little bit better arm, and none of the leadership that Tim Tebow had.
right. If you could bottle Tim Tebow's leadership, you could spread that throughout multiple players, and you would have some great success.
Mm-hmm.
So, Roger, do you think that there is an aspect of the drunk off of being a prisoner of the moment? Because yes, Tom Brady was able to do what he just did, but this is the unicorn we're talking about. That doesn't mean, and Russ's leadership is literally off the fucking charts, but he's still not Tom. There's not too many quarterbacks that could just supplant themselves into a locker room, change the culture, and then make a Super Bowl run on year one.
Well, it depends on what team gets him. You know, I think he could step into a team that's got a lot of potential.
Even Peyton Manning wasn't able to win in year one with Denver.
Uh-huh.
You know, and this is before he was throwing ducks and loaves of bread.
But I will say this: those two quarterbacks you mentioned, in TB12 and Peyton, literally the brain, they had their own system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They literally had their own system. Russ doesn't
Yeah.
have his own system. That's it, and that's what I think a lot of people fail to realize. Tom Brady literally has his own offense.
Mhm.
He has his own offense. Peyton has his own offense.
Mm.
A lot of these other quarterbacks really don't, even if they have play calling abilities on the field, like Aaron Rodgers.
Even Aaron Rodgers doesn't have his own
But he
offense.
doesn't have his own offense. You know what I mean? He's all because he just had to learn a new offense. Tom Brady, we saw what happened when they tried to make Tom learn some new shit. He was like, nah.
What are you
Then
doing?
when they said, no, you do your thing, bam, Super Bowl.
The only other one, Kerry, and it wasn't just him. It was the marriage of the two, was Drew Brees and Sean Payton.
Sure, yes, and you saw the success.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at K-Gun.
Jim Kelly.
Jim Kelly had his own offense. They went to the Super Bowl 4 fucking times in a row. Come on.
Basically, Dan Marino.
Yeah.
When he came in, it was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna stand back here and throw this thing. This is what we do.
He was like, you're not going to give me a running back? All right, well, then I'll do what I'll do best.
I'll throw for 5,000 yards in the 80s.
Yeah,
Troy Aikman is
my
in
captain
that
back.
category too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy because Troy's is more. He was like an offensive coordinator playing quarterback because he was going to check into a run and call running plays more often than he was going to call his own number.
And he did on goal line. I know Emmett, you better get them Christmas cards out every year too. Because Troy changed the play many a time on the goal line. Like, nah, I got Emmett. Like, why couldn't Troy Aikman just be on Pete Carroll's staff and one Super Bowl? Dumbass.
It happens, man. It happens. So yeah, Russ. I mean, Russ is. The thing is, you know, if you're going to be like, all right, I'm demanding a trade. So in NFL contracts, they typically have like no trade clauses.
Yeah.
But they don't have the power to be like, yeah, you can only trade me to like these three players or these three teams. So you're seeing these quarterbacks flex their muscles. Deshaun Watson says, I'm only going to one of 4 teams. Russ says, I will go to one of 4 teams. I think they're going to end up going to teams wherever they get out of their current situation, and that's it.
What? Okay, so if Chicago's truly trying to be a player, right? I would say the only player on Chicago that isn't up for grabs is Mac. I don't see them moving Mac anywhere.
Yeah, why
would you? Everybody else, hey, who you want? And if I can get Deshaun, Russ, who you want? So depending on how desperate Chicago is, and I think this is what we're looking at. They're looking to see what kind of quarterback moves other teams are made, who missed on quarterbacks. Now who's going to be desperate?
What if they do offer up Khalil back at a number 1?
And they're gonna have to restart because you're gonna have to win with defense. They're gonna have to restart to get rid of Mac.
I know, like Mac literally, you talk about changing a culture. Mac changed that whole shit in Chicago. You get rid of Mac.
Yes, but what if you get Deshaun or Russ? I'm pulling the trigger for one of them, especially Deshaun Watson. If I can get him in Chicago and locked up for like 5-6 years, I'm pulling that trigger.
I mean, okay. Well then, let's go. Let's look at it. The Chicago offensive line struggled. They couldn't even get a running game until the last couple weeks of the season. That without defense, really, with a defense that struggled, we saw what Russ looked like on a defense that struggled just this last season. So why would we get rid of our best defensive player to bring in a player?
Not Russ. Deshaun, I would. Russ is too old to pull that move, but Deshaun, if you can lock him up for...
So then you play in the long game with Deshaun and hoping that you can get another stud on D. I mean, Khalil Mack is...
Yes, he is a generational talent, but so is Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson plays the most important position. And
True.
Deshaun Watson being in Chicago, which is a major media market, and a team that has a storied history.
Mm-hmm.
Now Deshaun Watson can be your best recruiter for free agents. Like, yes, this is where I'm at. Come on down, guys.
All right, so you got to talk people into the cold. I get that. It happens in Green Bay. Sometimes it happens. I see some brothers go to the cold and were like, that's the coldest I've ever been in, but I won.
Well, that Super Bowl yacht party that everyone saw down in Tampa, I think it's going to be really hard to sell players on cold weather cities now.
But what did we see with Tampa Bay? We saw TB12 doing his thing, but what did we see on the other side of the ball? We saw a defense who got after it, a front four who got after it, LBs who got after it, and a secondary that just stepped up.
Yes.
If your front seven is balling, all your secondary has to do is just be where they're supposed to be. Balls will come to them. It's just going to happen.
Them shits are coming out quick, man.
That's right. So you just got to be ready. Or it's going to be tip drill city, you know what I'm saying, and bingo time. Let's go to the crib. But if you don't have that and your defense is getting ragged out because you can't put pressure on the opposing quarterback and your super stud Nova is just chilling on the sidelines in that cold-ass Chicago weather, now what?
This is true. But I think as time goes on, I think, especially with Deshaun, how they're basically like, now we're not trading you, shut up. And Russ, I want to know what has happened in Seattle for Russ to finally stop saying "Go Hawks" at the end of every single thing he says. What? He really must want out of there.
I mean, you have to think about it because he did mention this, and I look. If I'm the most sacked or hit QB for 2 seasons in a row, I'm like, yeah, what's up? Ray Lewis, when he didn't have a big defensive lineman in front of him, and then he started getting those guards and tackles on the second level, hitting them all the time, he was like, yo, I need a 400-pound Samoan. Come on. Give me somebody. Give me somebody to keep them people off of me.
He
got on it real quick, and guess what? He went back to himself.
He even went. They even went as so far as to just get Tony Saragusa just to squeeze into a uniform and just stand there.
Well, and then after Tony, then they got his name is
Haloti Ngata.
Haloti Ngata. Thank you. They got Ngata, and then he was like, "Thank you." Now Ray can go back to being Ray. So. It's the same thing here. Like Russ is like, I'm tired of getting beat up, and I keep getting promised an O-line. It's not happening. And my best runner, who could take some pressure off me, always getting hurt. So
now, let me play devil's advocate. If you are the most sacked quarterback in the NFL for 4 years straight? I think it was 4, wasn't it?
Easily.
Yeah. 4, and I think like 6 out of the last 9 or something retarded.
Just even the most hit.
Yeah, the most hits. So, what is the common denominator in all of this? It's Russ has always had a tendency. He holds onto the ball a little bit long, Kerry. Like he holds onto it. You look at Tom Brady, 2.5 seconds or more. I'm making this decision at the line. It looks like Russ isn't very good at reading the defense pre-snap. That's how I'm going to say that.
Well, I'll pause on that.
When you watch him play, he looks like a reactionary quarterback.
Well, you know why? Now, this is what I feel like it's more in line with. He got a little PTSD. Because remember David Carr?
Yeah.
First franchise quarterback of the Texans?
Mm-hmm.
That boy got beat to pieces. And we talking about at a time where they really could hit quarterbacks.
Yeah, I feel bad for that kid.
So when he went to the Giants, he literally told his teammates, "Yeah, I got the quarterback damn near knocked out of me." He was like, "I'm thankful to be a part of a franchise now, but I played different." He played with his eyes like this, level. You gotta play up with your head up. He was right this, and his career was done. But he also got mauled.
Yes.
For 3-4 years straight. He was like, come on, y'all.
Well, I mean, I over the years have watched a lot of Russell Wilson games, and he's not a quick decision maker with the football. I'll say it like that. He is smart, and he does his athletic ability and ability to escape the pocket and rush and create things mask the fact that he doesn't make decisions that quickly. Now, does he have a history of having a roster of wide receivers that he doesn't trust and have a rapport with? He loves Tyler Lockett. You see how well they play together. He made Fred Swain a person out of nowhere. So I don't think he's very.
Dougie Fresh Baldwin, and that was his guy. But he needs someone. And let's talk about the list of great tight ends he's had in his career, because we all know that young quarterbacks love their tight ends. Let's name them.
Well, he had Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen in year 14. Okay. Let's name him.
That white dude with the long brown hair.
Oh, that white dude with the long brown hair. Right, there we go.
Jimmy Graham.
For 2 seasons. And Jimmy Graham actually got busy, and he was complaining that he wasn't getting the rock. He had good seasons there. Then he went to Green Bay, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna really see Jimmy now." Disappeared. Yeah.
All right, so I'll just put it like this. I'm going to have to dig into it a little bit more and watch, but my synopsis is that I don't think he does pre-snap diagnosis very well, because that's Tom Brady's little entire game is, I'm going to figure it out before the ball's even snapped where I'm going with it. You're never going to hit me. Bang. 1, 2, gone.
I feel what you're saying, but also I feel like it's talent on the roster, starting with the O-line. He didn't, outside of Jimmy Graham for 2.5 seasons, he didn't really have a tight end that he just.
Oh no, it's a collaboration. It's not just one thing with Russ. Their GM and roster decisions have not been good ever since the Legion of Boom was so good to carry them to a title and whatnot. Post that, other than DK Metcalf nailing that pick, what have they really done well?
And then also we have to realize Russ, for a few seasons in a row, was just hurt.
Yeah.
He played injured and hurt all the time. I mean, I know they do in the NFL, but I mean, like, at the QB position, he couldn't really plant and fire the way he used to. And he was running for his life most of the time anyway.
Well, there's the little bit of factor, and I do remember him in college. Russ does, he's very good at it. So it's not really a knock on this, but he does play a little bit of hero ball, which means you're going to take some shots.
I will say, yeah.
A lot of it out of necessity. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. Yep.
Trust me, I get it. You can go other than Walter Jones on their offensive line. Steve Hutchinson was there for a long time.
He was.
But that's when they won a Super Bowl and were making Super Bowl runs. But since then,
Yeah, but I was gonna say, Hasselback had those guys.
that's what I'm saying. So
Hasselback guys, those not Russ guys.
so that's what I'm saying. So I can't really think of another offensive line, any of them that sticks out enough for me to have remembered them during the Russ period. So it's a lot of that. See, that's sometimes that's the problem. That's the Aaron Rodgers problem that Green Bay has. This guy is so fucking good. We don't need to get him help. Let's go do,
Which is nuts.
nuts. So
Joe Montana had Jerry Rice.
I'm gonna end this Zoom run, and then when we pop back in, we are going to take. It'll give us our opportunity to break down the not yet's and never been. So I will see you in like 1 minute. All right, let me open up another Zoom because I have not gotten a subscription to this shit yet. Nice needs to stop ducking us. Look, I'm gonna put Nice's name first in the list, and let me throw it out into the universe that it's Jets time. Off-season NFL football. I don't really know of any other sport that you could talk about completely in depth. I guess soccer's like this in Europe, to where the off-season is just as big as the season itself because of roster building. But the one thing that separates football from any other sport is 53 players on an NFL active roster. You also have practice squad players, which they've increased to, I think, 12 now. And up until week 1, you've got about 80 players on your roster. So roster building in football is key above all others. Basketball, you got 5 players on the field. Football, you've got 11 on the field per given situation. So you really need at least 33 players that are specialized in one thing in order to even have an entire roster. So football is, I imagine that soccer in Europe is kind of like this, but football is the only sport where the off season is this important. And
Spurs and
well, I was just talking to everybody about it. You're 53 players on an active NFL roster.
60 if you include practice squads.
I think they bumped that up to. I think they bumped that up to 12 now. It's either 10 or 12 you get now.
Yeah, you get a couple more practice players, right?
Yeah, so you're looking at above 60 players, and if you're going into the preseason, if they have it, even now they're just doing it contract wise. You're looking at 80 some players per roster. So the NBA's got 15 players max on a team. Hockey's got the same. It's in the teens. Like baseball's everything's in the teens. Football is massive.
Well, yeah, baseball's like 25.
Football is up above 50, and you guys, man,
you can never like have a season in a bubble.
No, it's too hard.
You would have to take over a city.
Yeah, it's too fucking hard. And then that's not even talking about the support staff required for teams that big. But I know going from a very small high school to even if we were very successful, which means everybody wants to play. It's like the thing to do. You're talking about maybe 30 people on our team in high school, right? Mm-hmm. So when I hit college, I was just like, Jesus Christ, there's like 140 people here on day one. Well, that 140, that shit in week 1 goes down to about 100. 40 people drop off instantly.
Yeah, because they're not ready for that action. They thought they were.
They thought they were until they saw what it really was. It was just like, wait a minute. A, these guys are fucking giants. B, we have been running for 7 straight days. I'm going to die.
we gotta run what? You running what? Yeah.
And then when the collisions,
back, kids.
Yeah, and then when the collisions, when the collisions begin, then you see a bunch of other ones be like, oh, this isn't really for me. This isn't for me. So
get your psycho up, kids. Get your psycho up.
All right, so
We got to talk about the not nows and never will be's.
yes,
Yeah.
we are going to do a Jets breakdown. So I have. This is the most I will ever talk about these assholes in one day. Obviously, the biggest topic at hand for the Jets, Robert Saleh is now their head coach. You're looking at a culture change through coaching, not through roster, because that is a culture changer. That guy is very intense.
Huh. I
Very.
thought it was going to be Johnson & Johnson coming up with the one-shot vaccine. But okay, sure. Robert Saleh. Let's go with that one. Yes. Culture changer, no doubt about it. Will he be given the opportunity to truly put his stamp on the game?
You are not going to believe it. See, Roger Harper tapped it. I threw it out of the universe, and
Oh, yeah.
it literally could not be better timing. Yo, nice. I swear to God, we literally just started to break down the Jets.
Right on time. Right on time.
Like flawless timing, homie. So yeah, with our resident Jets fan, let's talk about the not yets and never beens. So, first topic at hand: culture change. Robert Saleh is now your coach. He's very intense. He's going to end up headbutting some helmets this season. I can tell.
The question is he going to get the time needed to really put his stamp on the team? And I'm talking about because when John Harbaugh got the head coaching job at Baltimore, you had a sense that he had time. He also had a great defense already in place. He had some things in place already. Will Robert Saleh, with a young team, will he get enough time to really put his stamp on that team?
Yeah, I think they're going to give him some time because he's a culture changer, and anytime you got culture changes in the building, you know he's not going to do anything bad to harm the team. He's going to do the right thing. He's going to bring that energy that the team needs, that energy in that building. He just has that about him. He attracts players. He's one of those coaches that attract players, that players wants to play for. So, I mean, you would have to be downright insane to just let him go after a year or two. You got to give him some time.
Yeah, Kerry, I'm looking at their current depth chart. They've got to give this guy a couple years. They don't have anybody. They're literally starting at. They're literally starting at nothing. They have to say that we're starting at 0 right now because
they got to give him a 3 to 5.
Dude, I'm looking at this roster, and this is the worst roster in football by far.
There's only one player, Quentin Williams.
Quentin Williams.
That's
I know.
it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Quentin Williams. That's it.
Well, Denzel Mims started to show his ability once they start to throw the ball around week 11 or 12.
You know what though, and also, man, Berrios. I like to give a shout out to Berrios. He's one of those scrappy dudes. He went to Miami, and he was making it happen in Miami when he wasn't the flashy type. He just got it done. He just found a way to get it done. He's like a Wes Welker type, actually.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like his scrappy dude attitude. And every time he's in the game, it gets an opportunity. He makes the most out of it. So
he does.
He's a lot like Hunter Renfrow. The guy just makes plays.
Yeah, they're all the same. I mean, he's your ethnic Wayne Corbett. Just keeping it moving.
You're Scotty Miller.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I'm looking at this offensive line. Wow. Well, Micah Becton did play very well. That is where you are starting from.
Smaller. I like him.
And I'm along the line of we keep Sam Darnold for this current thing and we build other places. And if Sam doesn't work out, we're terrible again. Oh, we got quarterbacks to.
But you still have Sam on his first deal. You keep him.
And you're not getting Trevor Lawrence. So there's
just keep building. Don't get rid of Sam. Sam is perfect right now.
Yeah, but they're gonna get rid of him.
Well,
they're gonna either which would be a mistake unless you're getting Deshaun Watson. Right. That's about it. But they're high on this Zach Wilson kid. Apparently, he's like sneaky good. This is what everybody's saying.
This is why you guys suck, dude. This is why you constantly suck. Terrible GM decisions. So, Roger Harper, somehow, some way, didn't you play with Frank Gore? Somehow this guy is still on their roster. Wasn't your last year in the league Frank Gore's rookie year or something? This guy's been playing for this is ridiculous. How old is he really?
Shit, he's been in the league probably 15 years.
I think he's
39.
39.
38,
Yeah.
39. Yeah.
So are there any stud running backs in college this year?
Yeah. Najee Harris.
Oh, yeah, see? See? And
Travis Etienne out of Clemson.
Yes, and what's the guy from Ohio State too?
Transferred from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a couple of
Yeah, so
studs.
there are definitely other ways to build this team while you still have Sam Darnold on the cheap. If there's
Yeah.
That kid, Chewy Chubbs.
yeah.
Out of,
I would go after Pitts though. From Florida, I keep Sam Darnold and go after Pitts. Pitts
Or-
is a
tight end
matchup
move. Make a tight end move.
nightmare.
Yeah.
He's a matchup nightmare. You can play him on the outside as well.
Well, so if you're going for Pitts, then what you can do, because you know you can get him somewhere around 6, 7, or 8. You don't have to get him at 2.
Exactly.
As you can trade back and let somebody else jump in there that wants a quarterback and still build draft. See, this is Roger Harper. These are all the things that the Jets should be doing, and they won't do any of them.
They're not gonna do that.
They won't do any of them. They're GM decisions. I don't care what guy has the GM sticker on the front of his office window. They have sucked forever.
Yeah, they just like they like see they try to please the fans so much, try to shut the fans up so much. They just go for the big flashy name. They just think that all right, we put this person right here and this is gonna shut the crowd up.
You
And
know
it's
what
gonna
shuts the
bring
fans
people
up?
out.
Wins.
Wins.
Mm-hmm.
Especially you get an SB.
All right, so let me ask you guys a question. I just had a high thought. So I'm big into the common denominator factor in the off season. So what's the common denominator in the Jets' stupid decision making? It's the ownership.
Yeah.
So are the owners? Are they picking players based off of the fact that they're in New York, and there's that they have to handle New York factor?
First,
Are they doing that?
This is what's happening.
That's
What?
fucking
Wasn't
retarded.
their owner in Ireland for the past fucking 4 years?
Yes, he was.
So
This is
what are we
what's
doing?
happening.
Are you owning this team? Or are you prime minister in for Ireland? What's happening?
Yeah.
Who
I
running
mean,
the squad, homie?
Look at the history. They paid big bucks to a lot of bums. Like Tremaine Johnson, they gave Tremaine Johnson so much money, it was ridiculous. Just because it was a big name at that time, and it would shut.
Got busy for the Rams. Yeah,
It would shut up the fan.
he
So
played his man right.
Roger Harper, let me ask you something, homie. Whenever you would go into, free agent meetings and whatnot with these teams, what would they ask you? Like, what are they asking you in these meetings?
Well, what are you going to do to improve your game? What is your goals? Things like that. That they wanted to know what your personal goals were, basically.
Do they do okay, so you drafted second round, correct?
Yep.
All right, so let's go even further. Whenever they're interviewing you through the draft process, what kind of, outside of football, what are they asking you? Like, what are they trying to dig into? Because they start calling your old coaches. They want to know all this shit, right?
School teachers, they went back all the way back to elementary. They went all the way back to elementary school.
Side pieces.
Yeah, see, look at that, all the way back to elementary. I wonder if the Jets are doing that.
It's been a lot of bad choices, man. But I hope that they got a lot of culture changes in there. I hope things change. You know.
Well, you guys remember the story of I can't remember which player it was. It might have actually been Deshaun Watson, if I'm not mistaken. But didn't they ask him if his mother smoked crack?
Yep, actually about his mother.
Well, yeah, that and also Des Bryant.
Des Bryant, his mom too, and I remember that really pissed him off. He was really upset about that shit.
Yeah.
Asked questions about
It wasn't- it-
frequently too, like asking players about being gay, shit like that. I heard.
Yeah. They asked those questions.
And also, these motherfuckers know the answers.
Yeah.
They know the answers. They want to see how you're going to react.
Yep.
And how you're going to handle that question.
Yeah.
You do.
That's the same.
They know the answers. They know the answers.
Same thing I told y'all last week when I got traded to the Cowboys. First thing Jerry Jones said to me was, reason why we didn't take you in the first round because they said you was an asshole at Ohio State. I was just like, what? I was like really surprised and shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
Did he also tell you why come he didn't take Randy Moss? Yeah. I found out he was an asshole too, huh?
Yeah. Made a mistake there for sure.
oh my god. Well, Randy made him pay for that shit over and over and over and over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
his boy Johnny Manziel is thriving.
Well, I mean, you're looking at, so we understand just how, and I get it. If I'm a billionaire and I'm about to hand somebody like 30, 40, 50 million dollars, I'm probably going to ask them a few questions too, but you kind of get a little bit of an insight at what goes on in these meetings. And the common denominating factor for the Jets over the last, what has it been, 40 fucking years since you guys have been any good, is ownership. Comes down to terrible ownership. And Kerry, like you said, how engaged are you as an owner if for 4 years you're in Ireland?
Yeah. Yeah, you have no care about the team.
In that time, you got a whole new quarterback.
Yeah.
The leader of your franchise. You weren't even here for that, homie. What? And I'm supposed to have faith in this organization?
Because he's the dude that just puts everything on the GM and just say, all right, go get this for me. I don't really care. I don't give a fuck. Just go ahead and you just do whatever. So GMs if I was a GM, I would love going to the Jets because I have total control of everything. So I can really put my stamp on it. But you gotta produce.
Yo, that's insane, Nice, because
these GMs he put in place were complete idiots. They didn't even know what was going on.
Well, I mean,
I don't even know if Ozzie Newsome could save this situation.
no.
And he is a Hall of Fame GM.
Ozzie Newsome with Jerry West on his staff as a consultant couldn't save this, Kerry. Like, it's a really, really bad situation. Like, okay, so Nice. This just shows you the care, right? I go and get this hoodie made, right? I'm literally there the entire time with the dude who's making my shit, going over top of every aspect in person. Woody Johnson was in Ireland for 4 fucking years.
Got the nerve to be mad when shit don't go right.
Yeah, this is what I'm telling you.
What you talking about?
He gave McCagnon and all these type of stuff, and he did absolutely nothing with it.
All right, so
You had Mike McCagnon. You had
Tannenbaum.
Tannenbaum.
Oh, he was the worst. He was the worst. Yo, so look,
You had Gase.
Adam fucking Gase.
This guy coaching your young quarterback. This guy. Come on, man.
Yo, so
Come on.
all right, so Nice and everybody. Let's listen. Let me break down this roster for everybody so we can all react the same way and discuss. Quarterback situation: Sam Darnold. I don't know. You still have Joe Flacco on the roster, So your backup situation is pretty solid. I'm telling you, just keep the kid. Running back though, this is the fact that Frank Gore is still there he needs to go somewhere else where football matters. And then
Also, you got to give the young backs. If there's one position that's plug and play, it's most definitely quarterback. Just as long as they pick up the blitzes, but like you got to at least, even if they don't, like put them in on first and second down and see what these kids can do.
I mean,
you have young running backs on that squad that should have been getting rocked.
well, do you want to give the ball to Ty Johnson, Josh Adams, and Pete Guerrero?
Well, no, they had the rookie though.
Who? Michael
P.
Pirine?
Yeah, P. Ryan.
I'm looking at their roster right now, so
There's no P. Ryan's not even on
he
it.
must have been hurt at the end of the year.
He must have been hurt. Got hurt.
So wide receivers, Jamison Crowder. He's not a number one, but he is a solid NFL player.
Yeah.
Braxton Berrios, we just talked about him. We like I don't know who Vincent Smith or Jaleel Scott is, where they came from.
Vincent Smith came from Texas.
Brashard Perryman is on the chopping block though. He's going to be moved in this offseason.
Because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, he can't stay healthy.
Well, that should give Josh Doxson a chance to play because he kind of
Again, another chance for him.
well.
Cool.
Let's see.
Get it.
And then Lawrence.
You know who his teammate was in college? Bringing it back.
Gordon.
Boom.
Yeah. Boy, they were good though. Whew, my God, they were good.
Oh, they were good. College. Baylor. was-
Yeah, Baylor.
So Lawrence Cager and DJ Montgomery. DJ Montgomery, where did he come from? I know that name.
I knew that name.
Yeah.
Huh. I forget.
Austin P.
Oh, Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I remember that.
Yeah. I've been over Clarksville.
All right, so we've already talked about how atrocious the offensive line is. Outside of Micah Becton, that's a big piece to build off of because you're looking at a left tackle that stepped in day one and started dominating.
Gives them attitude, gives that O-line identity, like as the rookie. And I give him mad props for that. You swallowing your mic, son.
Said he's only going to get better.
All right, so
You know?
I forgot the tight end. So Chris Herndon, we'll see what he develops into. He's young. There is an X
He's
factor.
a receiver who bulked up and he's always getting hurt. So
No, but there's an X factor at their fourth tight end spot. Trevon Wesco. That is a WVU product who only played 1 year, basically, Kerry. That's what I'm saying. He's kind of new to this.
Yeah, but he's actually really good.
He can play. He can play. He was a junior. He was a JUCO transfer. They got 1 year at D1 level, and he got busy enough to get into the NFL. And don't sleep on him. He can play, and he likes to block. He's big.
Yeah, that's his thing. He's specialized in blocking. That's what they use him.
that's what's gonna keep him there.
Yeah, he can play. So look for him next season to contribute a lot more. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's.
So, are we saying like an O'Shaughnessy type?
Yeah. He can play, and being that his specialty is blocking, he does have really good hands.
Yeah, he has good. He actually made a spectacular catch in one of these games last season. It was really spectacular.
Yeah, so
But-
that was like the last year that I was really into college football, was that whole time period, because that was Will Greer, his rundown in WVU. So so Wesco came from Will Greer's. Yeah, Will Greer's first year there was Wesco, and I was just like, oh, this fucking guy can really fucking play. All right, so let's flip over to defense because, I mean, over the last 20 years, the only thing that the Jets did any good is has Rex Ryan as their head coach and a really good defense for about 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams, that's an all-pro player.
That's it.
He can really play. C.J. Mosley,
Oh yeah, I forgot.
He was hurt. He was hurt most of the season.
he was hurt. And then I'm looking at the rest of their starters, dude. Oh, my God.
Safety situation looking like? What's the safety?
So they've got Ashton Davis. and Marcus May. Now, where?
Yeah,
Marcus May's been there for a while.
Yeah, and then
they're gonna franchise Marcus May though.
they're going to franchise him because they need him there because they don't really have
Yeah.
anybody else. It's all
Yeah, Ashton Davis is pretty good too. He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Who's the
I
third
say,
corner?
I say,
Brian
I say
Poole.
I say by year 3, he's gonna be. His name is gonna definitely ring some bells, man. Ashton Davis is definitely nice,
so.
and
You need to
he's
get younger at third corner. And who are your two starters?
Glass Austin, and who was the other one?
Bryce Hall.
Yeah, Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall is gonna be good too. He's gonna.
So
be
you're
pretty
looking at
good.
a really, really, really young roster, like so young.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a perfect time. This is
On there.
this is literally the perfect time for them to rebuild. They have a culture shift in there, and if Woody Johnson is literally just letting people run the show for him, then let Salah run it for you. Because I don't think.
Because the last thing he'll do is get a damn quarterback.
Well,
you don't need one.
I don't think that I don't think any GM's coming up to Robert Salah and then like telling him this is what we're going to do. He's probably just gonna.
That's also true.
Yeah, homie, nah. Good. Call Woody. He's just going to tell him, call Woody. See what Woody, and then Woody's going to be like, yo, whatever he says, do it.
Yeah, Salah definitely is a guy that you would follow. So I don't think he would make too many mistakes.
All right, so what outside of all right, so I don't say it's agreed upon, but I do believe that if that is a good move to take that tight end from Florida, so that you could trade back.
Yeah.
So then,
Get some more pieces.
what other pieces are you looking at? You already have a left tackle solidified.
Yeah, we need more. We need a right tackle. We need a center. We need another receiver.
Yeah,
We
see,
need some-
Nick Mangold left a huge void at center when he left. And he retired relatively early. I think it was year 10 that he called it quits.
Yeah,
Let's not forget the Brickashaw.
Yeah, that was another one.
the Drinker Show is another.
Well, see, that's that whole roster that
Mark Sanchez had.
that Sanchez had that they built for wasn't that Tannenbaum? Nice.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
That was the Tannenbaum run where they really focused in on defense because they had Rex as the head coach.
Because they had Rex as their head coach. Rex wanted some hard hitters. That was
They
the
had
only way.
studs over there.
Well, I mean, come on, they had Revis, so that shuts down one whole side of the field. Like they had Revis at his peak.
Then
Yeah.
they had Cromartie on the other side.
Yeah.
They had Kamari, they had Bart Scott. I mean, they had studs.
Yes. They were. Look. Oh, yo, what was that white kid at safety that used to fucking lay people out?
Jim Leonard.
Yes, Jim Leonard back there getting busy.
Yeah, they had Jim Leonard.
They had a monster D tackle. He would get hurt. It's like he would tear his bicep or tear his pec or whatever. Get his name right now. He massive. He was a problem. No, I'm talking about. He was a problem every time he was in the game. Yeah.
You're covered up your bike again, Dice.
Oh, I said you talking about Jenkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenkins, Chris
Yeah.
Jenkins. Yep.
Chris Jenkins.
All right, so
I mean, that defense was really something. That was something.
all right, so let's look at their statistical output from last year to see. Now we can look at who's actually coming back to actually put up some numbers for them. Sam Darnold, we know he just. I feel bad for young quarterbacks that. All right, so he's coming in now. Year 2, it's a whole different system again,
Yeah.
and it's not even
Yeah,
just a system. This is a whole different cultural system. Everything's changing.
I mean, he's been going through this his whole career since he's been in the NFL. It's terrible.
You know what though? You know who
It's
else went
terrible.
through this? Alex Smith has gone through this. RG3 went through this. Like there's
Yeah.
the few, and that's what I'm saying. Like some players, some QBs can overcome it, but it's extremely difficult until you get to the landing spot. Like Alex Smith didn't really truly become Alex Smith until he got to KC. We saw glimpses of it in his last season with San Francisco. Then he got hurt. Then he had Colin Kaepernick, and then he just took off.
Yeah.
All right, so the
So-
the odd thing about their numbers statistically, I mean, we saw it on the field. The Jets' offense morphed into a different competitive outfit whenever Joe Flacco took over for those couple games.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the numbers. Joe Flacco's numbers across the board were worse than Sam Darnold's.
Yeah.
So
Joe Flacco just threw the deep ball pretty good.
well, that's been his one strength his whole career is he had a good deep ball.
Yeah. He just threw the deep ball like
No
and-
biscuit,
and-
no biscuit,
and
baby.
He really just kind of like chucked it because he knew he had fast receivers. So he just chucked it and told them to just run as fast as you can and catch it.
Like he did with Tory for years.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he did. So
Kobe Jones. Go get it.
It looked appealing, but overall Sam Darnold played better.
All right, so
Sam Darnold is not a bad quarterback. He just got a lot of bad things around him.
well, he also he needs to fix his mechanics. His mechanics are a
Yeah.
bit slow.
But he's a young
Yeah.
quarterback who needs what every young quarterback needs: fucking stability. You
Yeah,
don't have stability.
yeah.
You don't have positional stability. You don't have head coaching stability.
You're wrong.
And
There's a-
that's why I said that I don't think he's gonna be around next season.
There's only one
Because-
thing to fix a young quarterback. Somebody get Tyrod Taylor on the phone and get
Get
this man on the
Tyrod.
roster. Because
Oh.
every time he starts one game and gets mysteriously hurt, that quarterback goes on to great success.
You better
Yeah.
call Tyrod.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tyrod.
But I don't know, man. I just don't see him being on that roster next season. I really
that would be
think
a bad move.
it's gonna be either Deshaun Watson or Zach Wilson.
I mean, you can't say no to Deshaun Watson. You can't. You have to pull that trigger.
Well, I'll say this. I think you want it to be Deshaun Watson, and it'll likely be Zach Wilson.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We know how they get down.
Yeah,
So somehow Frank Gore led this team in rushing. Was
yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's not.
Because Frank Gore's amazing.
Well, no, of course, but I'm looking at the rush average from their running back room, and outside of this Tyler Johnson, he averaged 4.7 yards a carry. Everyone else is below 4 yards a carry.
But
Yeah.
what I'll say is this: you had a rookie running back in P Ryan, right? He didn't even start getting the rock until Gase gave up play calling duties,
Yeah,
which then he took back kind of again. But once he gave up play calling duties, all of a sudden we see P Ryan. But it's like what is this, 9?
9. or
9,
something.
yeah. And so now P Ryan's getting some work. He's getting busy, but his body's not used to getting that bang, and so he gets hurt. And then
Yeah.
he's done. Then he's done for the season.
When he's
You
done
have
for
to
the
be
season.
constantly banging, man. You can't just be like, I'm chilling. I'm not getting no work in practice. I get in the game sometimes, but now I'm the bell cow, and now
Yeah.
I'm pounded constantly, and my body's supposed to just stand up to it. No,
Yeah.
no way.
I had
He didn't
Not gonna
prepare
happen.
those players.
I-
He didn't prepare them.
I had no idea that Chris Hogan was even on your roster last season. Nice.
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him for getting a check. Good on you, Chris.
Well,
I heard.
he's actually I think he's done with football. He went and signed with the professional lacrosse league and shit. So
Yeah, he got hurt and it was over after that.
But listen,
what a little run that he
What a
had.
life.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, listen, what a life. This dude got to play. Not only did he get to play in the league, he got to play with
The GOAT.
the GOAT.
You got some rings.
And
Yeah.
the GOAT trusted him, and he
And you were a major factor in those.
favorably.
Yes.
And he played for every team in the AFC.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Pretty much.
So Jamison Crowder had 60 receptions. We all know what he is and what he's capable of.
Yeah.
When he's
yeah.
healthy, that health is an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When he's in there, he can get busy.
Perryman, he's on the move. Braxton Berrios had 37 catches last year, a couple touchdowns.
Well, I can see him stepping into the Jamison Crowder role eventually.
Well, Denzel Mims started to be used towards the end of the year, but then he got hurt. So
Yeah.
he's a little light in his frame, man. He was like that coming out of Ohio State. He was a little bit
It's
thin.
just it's like Kerry said, like you can't, he was hurt, he missed the first 5 games. You know what I'm saying? So he came in game 6 or something like that, and it took a while for him to get into the groove of things. And then, like you said, once your body's not constantly getting hit, you're gonna get hurt. It's gonna happen.
All right, so Dice, who offensive skill set, Roger and Kerry, let's put our GM hats on. Who is free agent wise skill set would benefit the Jets?
Which position?
Wide receiver, tight end, and running back. This is what we're looking at right now.
Oh, okay. I would like Galloway. I would like Galloway from the Lions.
What if you get Chris Godwin?
Who?
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin?
Oh yeah. Well, we know Chris Godwin. He's not going there.
Not this year. They're going to franchise tag him. They're going to keep him around for 1 year.
Yeah, they're going to keep him for 1 more year. So I would go with Galloway from the Lions. Big, fast, athletic, can catch the ball. He's a beast.
Juju might be, unless the Steelers franchise him, which I think would be silly. They should franchise Bud Dupree. But
good call, Kerry. He played with Darnold in college. They're already friends.
Yeah.
Juju is a social media star, so the New York market would fit him well. And
we've already seen 2 blockbuster trees that have run.
No matter what happens off the field or on TikTok with Juju, that motherfucker plays harder than any wide receiver in the NFL. His effort is absolutely through the roof.
Yeah. But
that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's definitely one of the guys. The 2 guys that they're aiming for is Juju and what's his name from the Texans?
Will Fuller? Will Fuller.
Yeah,
Will Fuller.
Those are the 2 main receivers that they aim.
Well, we know why they're aiming for Will Fuller, because that's the Deshaun Watson connection.
Of course,
he rips the top off, but
he can't stay healthy. That guy can't stay healthy. I'm going with Juju, man. Juju is.
I would go with Juju, honestly.
Well, that will let you know.
Also, if you're a quarterback, someone who he knows and trusts.
Well, this will let you know. This is like looking at the knuckles on a guard. It's going to let you know what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
The wide receiver direction that they go is going to let you know what they're going to do with their quarterback. So if they can go out and swing and get Juju, they're keeping Sam Darnold. That's a guarantee.
Yeah, that's a guarantee.
But if they can if they can land Will Fuller, then they're swinging for the fences for Deshaun. Then.
Yeah. I would honestly go for Galloway, though. I personally think he's better.
He is. So what if this happens on draft day, though? And if I'm the Jets, I do this. I trade out of number 2, acquire an extra number 1, and then put together this huge package on draft day for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. I mean, that can also happen, but it's not. They're not going to do it, but I hope they will.
I just don't, because we've talked about all these AFC teams, Miami, Jets, all. But Deshaun, if the way the Texans are talking right now, like they won't do anything, whatever. If they do get pushed eventually into doing something,
you think it'll be the NFC?
I think their concession will be like, well, fuck you, no AFC team.
So you're looking at Dallas, New Orleans, and Seattle as the front runners, and Chicago. So you've got 4 teams that are really in the running.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So they'll do him like what Green Bay did to Brett Favre.
Oh, see, we're forgetting. I keep forgetting that this team's actually in the NFC. The Panthers.
The Panthers.
The Panthers going hard at Deshaun. Hard at Deshaun.
I was about to say the Panthers.
That would be an interesting move.
Chicago and the Panthers is going very hard.
That'd be interesting to get Deshaun down there with Christian McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson, put a couple other pieces and see what Matt Rule does. Because Matt Rule...
Yeah. Listen, if you put together a package to get Deshaun to the Panthers, Christian McCaffrey is going to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, Gary. As soon as you start to say that, I already thought about it.
You're not keeping both of them. No. So you're going to be a Texan then.
No. So you're looking at essentially. I would look at the Jets then, as because he wants to go to the New York market, but they have the capital right now, draft capital, to make this move, and they can acquire more with that number 2 pick. You're looking at
Yeah.
they can replace one of these ones that they're going to lose.
So what we need, our next talk needs to be who could be possible trade partners with the Jets. Who's looking to move up, possibly to snag one of 4 to 5 quarterbacks? Because we're talking Trey Lance.
I would say
Well, we obviously Lawrence is out, but we're talking Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, and there's another
Matt
kid.
Jones.
Matt. Well,
All right, so what I'm going to do, because we got 2 minutes left, this is a good pause point. I'm going to end this one, send out a new one. Think about that, and we'll break down the Jets' defense and that move. Who could actually be a willing trade partner? That makes a lot of sense. So I'll see you guys in 1 minute.
All right.
Very good call on that one, Kerry, because not only are you looking at giant roster moves, you're looking at very expensive roster moves, financially and roster-wise itself. So who can even do that? Not only who can, but who would? Good question that he posed, and I guess I could roll another blood. I have to find another lighter somewhere, y'all. I go through lighters like it's nobody's business. So, thanks for tuning in, everybody, because not only is this football talk exclusively, this is also the off-season football talk. So you've really, really got to be a football head to want to sit here and listen to me and my homies talk about off-season roster moves. But this is what we do. And as I always tell everyone, if we weren't doing this on YouTube, these are the exact same conversations that we would have with each other anyway. That's what I try to tell everybody. We don't do like a sports show where it's just like call in guests and all this shit. We're literally just having the same types of conversations that we've been having for years.
Yep.
Exactly like this, roster moves, like all this shit. Like we just decided to start broadcasting it because why the fuck not?
we've been talking about doing this for years.
Years and years and years.
But like that's the foundation of any good thing. It starts with an idea, and then as it goes along, it starts to pick up momentum, and then you start to think, wow, well, why not? Especially you start to see other people doing the same thing, and you're like, well, I do this regular every day.
Yeah, we already do
and
this.
I know what I'm actually talking about.
Yeah, that's the thing, Roger Harper, that we were talking about, like, you know, the whole motivation for doing this, because whenever we will watch other people's shows, it was just like, God, these guys don't know anything. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about at all. How did you get this job? How did you get this job?
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, then there's the other factor, though, Kerry, is you get ex-players that just aren't any good at this part of it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. They know the game inside and out, and they were phenomenal players. They just don't know how to verbalize it. You know what I mean? They don't know how to intellectualize it in a manner in which they could break it down to someone who's never done this before, and put it to you in a compelling way to make the most passive fan truly interested, or someone who doesn't know anything about the game, spin it in a way you're telling a story. I've seen people who they don't give a shit. They call it sports ball.
Yeah,
that's the thing that they love to call it. But you get a storyline, and then all of a sudden it's a human interest story. It's not a sports story. It's a human interest story. And all of a sudden they care about the person, and then they realize, oh wait, this person does this to make money, and they play this game to make this money, and because they've made this money and they come from this environment where they came from, now they use their influence and their money to do this. I love this person.
Well-
who does this person play for?
Well,
I root for them just because I love their story.
I mean, you know, Pete was not a fan of sports outside of boxing. He loved boxing.
Yeah.
But the last few years of our run together, he would sit down and watch Patriots games with me because he started to understand. I had to start explaining to him, all right, this is what's going on. I know there's a lot of moving parts, but I did the same thing. I was just like, you know, fuck all the moving pieces. It's, you know, it'd be the biggest one was the Falcons and Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh, we were texting the entire time, and I kept and I hit you up, and I was like, yo, because Rip, see, when we watch football games, we're realists, right? So if the situation just looks like, nah, we done. It's Rap City. Okay, let's hit the showers. Let's do it. I was hitting Joe up, and I was like, look, this game is not over.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Falcons were putting it to them. But I was seeing a couple of things that the Falcons were doing, and I was seeing Tom's demeanor the entire time. And I was like, you know what, bro? This game is not over. Like, I saw how fast the Falcons put up those points. Y'all have more time to put up just as many points, and you know who your quarterback is, and you know who your head coach is.
Well, so that game in particular, my mom called me ahead pregame and said, what's Tom going to do? And I said, listen, I just now found out this information for myself. I didn't know that Tom Brady's mom had not been to a single game that entire season in person, that she had been battling cancer the entire year. She made it to the Super Bowl, though, and I said, there is no way in the world that this guy is losing this game. Plus, the social factor of making Goodell, after that 4-game suspension, hand him the trophy in front of the world. I already knew that was going to happen. When I found out his mom was there for the first time all season, I said, there's no way they're losing. So, they could have been down 97 points. I never once broke the faith. And every single play, I looked at P and said, I hit the table every time. You just have to believe. That's all I kept saying. And he watched this drama unfold in front of him. And he even said, he was just like, yo, that's the best game that I've ever watched in my life.
And really, sports at its best will give you everything that your favorite movie will give you. It will give you the drama, the intrigue. You know what I'm saying? Like the fights, the love, the hurt.
Well, that's what made that's the first thing that made P finally pay attention is he was passing through randomly, and we at that time we had this like 110-inch fucking screen that took up the whole goddamn wall, so you couldn't miss the game. And there was a fight on the field, and it was a big one. They were getting it in, and P was just like, yo, I didn't know they got it in like this. I said, yo, P, every single play this happens, you just don't see it. You gotta know where it's happening and how.
Listen, if he would have known the shit that is talked on that field, play to play, don't recover a fumble. And Roger, I know you can speak to that. You too, Joe, but I'm just saying, like, you did it at the NFL level, Roger.
A lot of shit.
I did it at semi-pro level, but I mean, I've been in some situations recovering a fumble, being at the bottom of the pile.
Oh, yeah. A lot of shit going on.
I'm happy I came up with everything intact. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so I will tell you, being 5'8" with short legs and instant quickness, I was always at the bottom of those piles because I was closest to the ground, Carrie. You know how many fumbles I recovered at my time? I'm always in the fetal position, getting the shit beat out of me in there. I literally would curl into the fetal position around the ball.
Me and Roger are a little taller than you are.
Yeah.
So this is more legs and ankles. There's just like more things available. People trying to twist my fingers off my damn hand. They're trying to gouge my eyes. I didn't wear a visor. People trying to like gouge my eyes, rip my mouthpiece out, calling me all sorts of shits. Yeah, it's fucked
Yo,
up.
so Roger Harper, what was the bottom of the pile like in a playoff game?
Shit. Motherfuckers were getting bit. The motherfuckers fighting. I mean, like you said, you don't see the fights. There'd be a lot of fucking shit going on. A lot of tussling, blows. Elbows to the gut, fist up under the face mask. A lot of shit going on.
Thumbs to the nether region.
Yes, yep.
Which is why, look,
for grabbing your nuts and shit.
There was not ever a game, never, where I did not wear a cuff. For that, there was too many savages out there. No. If you grab my finger, the way you grab my finger, you will grab my package. No, thank you. You will not get that opportunity, sir.
All right, nice. Let's let's look at the defensive side of the Jets roster. Somehow, some way, Neville Hewitt led your team in tackles, and by a mile.
Yeah. He played his heart out, man. I didn't expect
Also, who?
that.
Exactly.
Neville
Hewitt.
I didn't expect that from him, man. He was definitely giving his all on that field every Sunday. Every given Sunday, he was there.
He had
I will say that, and we did talk about this. The Jets on defense did play very hard.
Yeah,
they did. On offense, they started playing harder after Adam Gase gave up play calling duty.
Yeah.
But on defense, they played hard every game.
Well,
they played harder
ranked
after
32
Adam
though.
Gase gave it up.
They play hard.
Yeah.
It ranked 32 is what I'm reading right here.
Yeah, I mean the effort didn't show up in the stats, Roger Harper. That's for fucking sure.
But what I'm saying, Roger, is like before then they were like, it was a joke. It was like, why would I even turn that game on?
Yeah.
When you actually got to see effort, we know the difference between someone who's just like going through the motions and actual effort. They started to get actual effort, which is their fucking job to begin with. But you know.
And the secondary was getting killed, man. That's what it was. That's why they looked so bad, because the secondary was terrible. I mean, Bless Austin gave up. I mean, they in the beginning, before while Adam Gase was there, they were giving up so much space. It was so many. They was giving up.
Adam Gase or Greg Williams? Because Adam Gase stayed the entire time. Greg Williams had a
to
stay.
Yeah. Greg Williams.
On Greg Williams, because you know you got young players on your squad. What are you doing? What are you doing?
And the minute
Greg Williams did them no favors.
The minute he got fired, what the intern defensive coordinator did was he switched. I forgot that little short corner that we had, and he made him a safety.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started playing Bryce Hall a bit more, and he started playing this other rookie that we had, number 40. I forgot his name. And that's when they started tightening up.
It's Brian Poole and Pierre Desir.
Oh, Pierre Desir, who's bet in this game? Pierre played with the Colts.
That was actually earlier. They released Pierre Desir.
They released Pierre Desir. Yeah, they
and
did.
They started Bryce Hall. They had Bryce Hall and Bless Austin, and then they got rid of Bless Austin, and they were rotating Bless Austin in this other corner.
It's either Arthur Mallett or Lamar Jackson. Those are the other two young.
Well, Arthur Mallett is the one who they moved from corner to safety, and that's when things changed, because Mallett was very aggressive, but he was too little, and he was over aggressive. So he was getting beat every time. He was just too aggressive. So they put him at safety where he can fly around. They had him at free safety, strong safety. Sorry.
All right, so
strong safety. So they started playing.
So you're looking at a giant statistical leap. Number one's Neville Hewitt, and then Marcus May, the safety, is number 2 in tackles, all the way at 80. He had 88, so it's 50 less tackles in number 1 to number 2.
So Neville Hewitt played outside
linebacker.
Outside, inside.
He had to have been
He
inside
played
with that many tackles.
inside linebacker.
I was gonna say
So
Yeah,
the dude that they got rid of that went to that they traded off to the Steelers.
Williamson,
Williamson. Yeah.
Avery Williamson. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was the name. Like outside of obviously Cat Daddy that they got from Baltimore. He was like,
Yeah, C.J. Mosley.
CJ Mosley. All right, so the biggest thing when you look at defensive statistics that's a glaring fucking forest fire to me is safety is the number 2 leader in tackles. Corner is number 3. Corner is number 6, 7. Safety is 10. Safety is 13. Corner is 14. That secondary was giving up catches all goddamn year.
All day, all year.
Your corners should not have that many tackles. That is not good.
That's why I said like their corners was. I mean, it was terrible. Bless Austin played very, very mediocre, man. He played so mediocre. It was bad.
He only had 4 passes defended the entire year. He had 50 solo tackles. That means people are catching passes on you all fucking day.
All the time.
Wow.
All the time.
He had a rough year.
Yeah.
So yeah, your secondary is way too much separation. I didn't even watch a Jets game, and I can tell you just by looking at the stats that there's too much space between those corners and the receivers.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. It was too much space. So all you had to do was run the little hook route, and that's it. And you could do that all game.
Lot of tackles, a lot of solo tackles, and not a whole lot of passes defended from your secondary whatsoever.
or you could just run a go route with a few seconds left in the fourth quarter when you have to lead and just like lose.
Yeah. That can happen
It
too.
also says that your interior, if your corners and safeties making all the tackles, where's your linebackers and your D line at?
They're not getting that pressure.
Zero
That's
pressure
what I talk
whatsoever.
about.
Yeah.
It is absolutely necessary to be able to get pressure on the opposing quarterback, or you will be exposed like this all the time.
All the
And
time.
teams that we see continuously that are always in the mix somehow, you either have like a unicorn at quarterback and thing, or you definitely have guys who can get to the quarterback. Like even in Green Bay, right? You had the 2 cats out there who get like on the, you know what I'm saying? Like they got some pressure in. Like you'll find a way to get some pressure. You have to, because if you don't,
That happens.
like who got pressure from Jacksonville? Jacksonville, as we always say, they did play hard. They gave effort, but they just did not have enough on the defensive line to get consistent pressure on the opposing.
Well,
quarterback.
Kerry, I'll tell you exactly right now where the problem lies.
Allen got busy, but he had no counterpower.
So Quentin Williams led the Jets in tackles for loss and sacks.
And sacks.
And he's
8.5.
basically doing it by himself, right?
By himself.
The next statistical number 2 in sacks was 3.5, and it's an outside linebacker.
Yep.
Your
it was
next
terrible.
defensive lineman, John Myers, had
Franklin
had
Myers.
3 sacks, and then Shepard had 2. So, and then the other D tackle had 2. Your defensive front outside of Quentin Williams had fucking 7 sacks for the season. That's terrible.
Now, let's take a look at this. In the same building in which we play, Leonard Williams, who left Green, went to that Big Blue. When he figured it out this season, I would say like in game 4 or 5, and he was getting consistent pressure. Then all of a sudden, he just became a monster. He started thinking about his days in California, USC. Like, dude, he went retro, and then he went all in, and then all of a sudden, the entire line was like, oh, hell yeah. So, like, in terms of name recognition, Giants don't have, like, massive name recognition on the line. But they had players who showed up and showed out. And it didn't always equate to sacks, but it equated to crucial pressures. Whereas linebackers were getting sacks, safeties were getting sacks. So it wasn't always the front four, but the others were getting in there, getting those sacks. So if you don't have those guys even on the next level, because I don't know, I'm sorry, your main tackler's name is what?
Neville Hewitt.
Hewitt. Were they sending Neville? Were they sending Aaron Neville on blitzes? I don't know. He can hit a sweet high note, but I don't know if he can hit a quarterback.
I don't know much, but I know the Jets are terrible. I mean,
what I'm saying is, look. I know you want a tight end, and I think that is, I get it. But if you don't build your lines, O-line, D-line, nobody's going to give a shit about the tight end. If any quarterback is on his back, it doesn't matter how deep the tight end is. So, this is where I give Dallas props. When Stephen Jones started making decisions, he built the best offensive line in the league.
Yep.
But what did it do for him?
Well, okay. But also, guess who else he has in his ear? You know what I'm saying? Like, there was some other things.
All right, so the Jets gave up 28.6 points a game, so their defense not very good.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, when they did, I'm saying, like, when Jerry wanted Johnny Manziel.
No, I know all that, but
gonna take Travis Frederickson. Like, that was the move. Like, so I'm just saying, like, the Jets are in a position where they have a young QB that they're not paying the house to. This is your time to build your lines. Build your O-line, build your D-line. Be smart, though. Like, so if you see Quinnen was the defense, get a fucking lineman. Get an edge rusher. Get an interior lineman that can cause some havoc. Help your leading tackler get more tackles, maybe.
Yeah. But
you need more than Quinnen, and you need more than Becton.
That's why they got a lot of high picks.
275 passing yards a game they gave up, and they gave up 112 rushing. So it's definitely that secondary, the lack of pressure.
No. You mitigate that with the line.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
You get pressure. Like, your secondary you could have a mediocre secondary, but if you have a bomb front seven.
All right, so
we just saw that win the Super Bowl.
So the benefit of
mediocre defensive backfield win a Super Bowl because the front seven was dominant in the right moment.
So the benefit of hiring Robert Saleh so early is he has already basically named his entire staff.
Yeah.
So Tony Oden is a cornerback coach. I don't know who that is. Marquin Manuel is the safeties coach. Mike Ruttenberg's the linebackers coach. Jake Moreland's the assistant offensive line coach, assistant coach. Some guy I've never heard of is the special teams coach. And then they only kept one coach. It's the special teams coordinator, Brant Boyer.
Yeah, Brant Boyer, because he's good at it.
Yeah.
So
pretty good at it.
So
Marquin Manuel, like he's been in the league for a while now.
That's why I say I want to go through those coaches' names to see if you guys had any of these had name recognition.
Legit. And this is what I'm saying. If I'm Robert Saleh, I'm like, look, you know what he's about, right? So, yeah, I'll be like, look, let's give defense. You see, defense was like terrible. If you're struggling on offense, but your defense can keep you in the game, you always have a chance to win. You might have a play on defense that scores the touchdown that you couldn't get on offense. But you need some sort of defensive playmaking on that side of the ball. You need that. Because I don't give a shit how great your offense is. But if you don't have enough, and you just may need 2 or 3 playmakers on defense. But if you just have one, I'm sorry, you can't get it done. I've never seen a defense in this entire history of the league that just had one playmaker on defense win the chip. I've never seen it.
All right, so I'm looking at the Jets roster on defense, and they are very small. So you're looking at a secondary that I'm seeing multiple players under 200 pounds. And then you get into the linebackers. C.J. Mosley's at 250, but the rest of them are around 220 to 230. This is a small team on defense.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they gave up so many passing yards. They got no pressure. There was no pressure. The opposing quarterback is like, doody-doody-doo.
Yeah,
you get any quarterback that has made it to this level that much time.
Well, you're also Kerry, who was their defensive coordinator for the last few years, though? Greg Williams, speed, linebackers flying around. All that speed definitely cost them because that's a very, very light in the ass defense. They're really small.
Think about it. And then look, and you know who Greg Williams is desperately trying to be like? Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson built with speed, but he also was smart because he built with power. And also back in the day, you had big guys who had a lot of speed too. He got Russell Maryland. You had Jeff Cole. You had, you know what I'm saying? You had couple guys I'm forgetting. Ken Norton. But I mean, I'm just saying, but you had guys who had speed, but also power. I'm sorry. He's just trying to be a knockoff Jimmy Johnson because look, think about it. Does Greg Williams want to be a coordinator his whole life? No, he wanted to be a head coach. So he was trying to play hero ball to try to get a head coaching position.
That's hilarious that defensive coordinators play at hero ball, but he was. Yeah. So nice. As our resident Jets fan, what's it look like? What do you expected out of next season? You're muted.
Mike.
You're muted. Oh. There you go.
Yeah. It's just a total rebuild. So, I would say, you build through the draft. You got enough cap space. Try to get a couple of experienced guys in there, and just continue to build. I mean, at this point, it's like you said. It's clearly they got a lot of holes to fill. A lot of holes to fill, and they have the right tools right now to make that possible. So they just gotta really just build through the draft, get a couple of great free agents in there, and build from there. Because they're not going to the Super Bowl anytime soon.
So as a Jets fan, how does it feel to have the Patriots finally come back down to earth? And then all of a sudden, it's just like finally the king is dead, and then all of a sudden Buffalo is now going to be the king of the AFC East for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Also think about this. The
Dolphins.
The head coach from Buffalo, when he first got there, was getting excoriated. But then they saw his vision, and then because he was like, "Hey, don't worry, my offensive coordinator, my quarterbacks coach, they'll get Josh up to speed, and I'll just coach the defense hard and don't worry."
Well, the GM in Buffalo has been doing a really good job over the last few years.
And let me tell you something, in terms of quarterback play, and I think we've all agreed to this before, the turn that we've seen Josh Allen made, especially after they got Stephon Diggs, was unlike one that we've seen in quite some time. This mofo made leaps.
Well, the really interesting thing to see what happens this season coming up. Do you settle back a little bit, or do you continue? Because if he continues to improve, oh boy, look out for that one, bro.
And now we're talking about Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, Davis, number 13, who was the rook. The tight end, I can't remember his name right now, but he's also good. Young tight end for a young QB. The only thing they need really, if they bolster their running game, and then I feel like they're maybe 1-2 players away on defense, maybe.
So Dice, what are you thinking? 4 wins? 4 wins realistically?
I mean, they're not far away.
You're muted again, Dice. You're muted. This is only.
I say around 6.
6. That could probably make sense. See, even YouTube and Zoom doesn't want to hear anybody talk about the fucking Jets, man.
Okay, now let's talk about this. Who are possible trade partners for the Jets for them to move down to maybe possibly? I just think it's a mistake to pick a tight end that high. Because you pick a tight end that high, you're telling me your offensive and defensive lines are primo. That's not the case for the night.
Well, I mean, they're not going to take him that high, but then you could still get that same player later.
That's what I'm saying. So who are possible trade partners in the top? Yeah, who are possible trade partners to move all the way up to number 2 to secure, because you only move up to number 2 for a quarterback. So who are the trade partners?
The Falcons.
Who?
The
Falcons.
Okay, that's a good call, Dice.
Falcons.
I think the Falcons gonna do it because the Falcons. I mean, clearly we all know Matty Ice is not gonna take them to the promised land. He's okay, but
He's not real.
It's a league right now where you need mobility. You got to be mobile because everybody's fast. Unless you're Tom Brady, you got to be mobile. And Matty Ice is not mobile at all. He's a pocket passer. It's over for that, So they need somebody. Mobile and a strong arm because they got weapons. So they're gonna need a fresh new face at quarterback down there.
What about Denver or Vegas?
Also, I would go.
Because I know Denver is not. They are not sold on the whole Drew Lock thing. And Vegas, that just not even the John Gruden factor, but they have already been fielding trade offers for both Derek Carr and Mariota.
Yeah. They don't. Derek Carr. Yeah. That's why I said that the year of the pocket pass is pretty much over with.
That's the only ones because I'm literally looking at every other team, and they're not in a position to make that move, or they're not going to move up to pick Justin Fields.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this one because as we look at the past few Super Bowl winners, right? And we talk about pocket passing versus being mobile. Now, TB12 in his 40s just won. Before him, Patrick Patrick Mahomes, who is mobile. Before him, Nick Foles ain't mobile. And then TB12 again, and then if we look at the quarterbacks who have won outside of Patrick Mahomes, who's the most mobile quarterback who's won the Super Bowl in recent history?
Yeah, but I don't mean like dual threat quarterbacks. I just mean mobile.
I'm just saying even the most mobile. If you can move in the pocket, if you have sweet footwork in the pocket, you don't even have to be like someone who runs. Tom Brady, I would say Aaron Rodgers, I would say Drew Brees, like quarterbacks who have sweet footwork in the pocket and make shit happen. These guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, but Kerry, those quarterbacks do exist now. They're just different. They can run. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. These are pocket quarterbacks.
But what I'm saying is
that will run.
The most mobile quarterback to have won in recent history is Patrick Mahomes. Other than that, you've had guys who've existed in the pocket.
Well, this is true, but we're also living through the GOAT era, and fucking 7 of those Super Bowls in this year were all won by Tom, so that kind of skews the statistics a little bit.
Outside of that, you had Russell Wilson win, yeah. But then you had Peyton and his brother win. You had 2 by Peyton, 2 by Eli. These guys ain't running nowhere.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that.
You had one by Aaron. You had Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that era, the 2000s era, is over. These quarterbacks are pocket passers. They'll just take off now. They're more like Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, I'm saying in the here and right now, Patrick Mahomes is the most recent example of a mobile quarterback who could pick up yards with his feet. But other than that, we haven't seen a run on those type of quarterbacks winning chips yet. I say yet. We haven't seen a run on it yet because right now, Tom, Peyton, Eli,
just wait.
These guys are winning chips.
Just wait until Cleveland wins the Super Bowl, then it's another pocket dominant quarterback who gets another chip. Because
no. Bake got a little wiggles.
He does, but his movement is more so that he can find the throwing lanes because he's so short.
Actually, yes. You know what? Actually, Baker is another good example of someone who has excellent movement within the pocket.
He has to. He's so short. He has to find. And that's Kyler Murray's the same way, even though Kyler will take off because he's so fucking fast.
And Russell's in that conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
Russell is.
That's why I said mobile and not.
You're looking at Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. These guys, especially those two individuals, are gigantic. If they would have came up 20 years ago, they would never leave the pocket. That's just not how the game's played now.
They would have been the prototypes. They would have been number one overall picks, no question about it.
Andrew Luck.
And look at Andrew Luck, exactly.
And you're going to see Trevor Lawrence is the same way. He's just a little bit skinny, but Trevor Lawrence is the same way. This is a pocket quarterback who will take off because his stride is so long.
So now what we're going to say is going to be interesting to watch. But now what we're going to say, Trevor Lawrence is in the mold of the traditional 6'4", 6'5", arm, but now he can run. Now these guys can run. So are we going to say that this is what our new quarterback looks like, traditional size, but also now has this added skill set of being able to move within the pocket and then escape?
That's what I've been saying this entire time. Is this is the new prototypical quarterback.
Like the smaller quarterbacks who can like scoot around, but now we're going to get back to the prototype size, but also they have this ability.
Yeah, this is what you're going to see. I mean, you're going to see those smaller ones because they're exceptions to the rule because they're so talented. Mm-hmm. But you're going to see this Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, where they have the size and they will run. Big Ben always had the size, but he was never running anywhere. Josh Allen will take off.
But he ran because he was tough.
Yeah.
He just was he was such a tough tackle. And I see what you're saying, because we saw the same run and we're seeing the same run in the NBA, where all of a sudden your 6'9" guy, your 6'9" guy back in the day was Magic Johnson. He was the point guard, but he was an outlier. He was a unicorn. Now you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's 6'11", handling the rock. Zion, now they're calling him Point Zion. He's 6'9", 6'10", handling the rock. And like now you just have, it became a forward and guard dominated league when it used to be a big man league where you used to need to have down low moves and all that shit.
Well, with Zion, he
don't have handles in the three. You might as well not even join.
Well, Zion's a good unicorn because he played point guard his whole life because he was always smaller, and then he just all of a sudden got big. So
just like AD,
yeah,
Anthony Davis,
and
KD at 7 foot as a 7 foot.
Let's not, if we're going to touch on the NBA, I will say the best basketball player on the planet right now. I think he's 6'8" also is Luka. Luka is incredible.
Luka is incredible, yeah.
And he's like 6'8", 6'9", playing the true point guard at 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, absolutely.
And
but this is what
dude,
I'm saying.
That guy's I think he's still 21 years old. Are you fucking kidding me?
So now when Magic Johnson was the outlier, now it's the average now.
And this is what's going to happen to quarter, and it should. You should be able to move at quarterback so you can pick up these easy first downs, keep the chains moving, and you don't die.
And the best at it is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and it's almost like you see he has such excellent movement in the pocket, and then you just saw the breakdown of his line, because now it's like, because earlier on he was doing it as just like a necessity. He just like, I don't want to escape this pocket, but if you force me to, because you want to cover everybody, if you're going to play my guys 20 yards off, all right, well, I'll just run. That's free yards. Like, that wins. That's free yards. So yeah, this is an interesting time. Now we're seeing where prototype size quarterbacks, from what they used to be 6'4", 6'5" guys, are now becoming more mobile and faster. And I think that they're going to use Trevor Lawrence as the new gold standard, even though we've seen some bigger guys who have mobility down.
I think
for this new generation, Trevor Lawrence is going to.
He will be, but I think Justin Herbert will be the torchbearer leading forward.
We forget how big Justin.
Yeah,
Herbert
this guy's huge. So I don't know. There's like 3 teams that have 4 wins. I don't know which one of them had the. It won't be Eagles because they had a tie. So it's either going to be the Falcons or the Bengals. No, the Bengals had a tie. So it's Falcons next week. So we got the Falcons next week because Zoom is telling me that we're 1 minute left, and it's a perfect time to finally stop talking about the fucking Jets. Nice. I do appreciate you coming through for Jets talk. I know you're a busy individual, homie. So, yeah, we'll break down the Falcons next week and the continual roster churning and free agent frenzy that is going to start picking up. So, fellas, I appreciate your time, your knowledge, your input, and your energy. I will see you. You'll hear from me. You guys already know. So, this is Gray Matter, and we'll be breaking down the Falcons next week. A lot to talk about with them then. All right. All right, Matty Ice. I think the ice is melting, people. So, I appreciate everybody coming through and listening to me and my homies talk about football. And next Tuesday, we will be breaking down the Falcons. So if you are a Falcons fan, it will be your time to listen to us talk about how terrible your team actually is. Come on. The computer's acting funny, y'all. So, until then, I appreciate everybody. RIPP 333, and I will see you tomorrow morning for morning meditation.